when I am working with clients, whether it's massage or something else, holding space for them so that the body feels safe, because otherwise it's going to be in a guarded, protected space. I feel like one of the resistances is that people don't want to relive trauma. And I understand that. But I feel like in the treatments that I offer, they are supportive avenues where that doesn't need to happen, and that we can shift this, because again, we're energy. And so working on that energetic frequency basis so that the body can unwind and shift and move things through.
Hey, I have honor to have my friend in the local community. Her name is Lorin Purifoy. She is naturalist. She incorporates the wild medicine into all her program. So let me invite her to share her talents and passions. Hi, Lori. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Yeah.
I have, yes, many passions. And I feel like nature is the driving force for so much of it. I've been involved in shadow work for quite some time for myself and helping others move through those aspects of ourselves that we don't want to look at or accept or recognize. I feel like that's where the gold lies. So those pieces of ourselves that we don't want to fully integrate. So a lot of my work is around helping people heal trauma, heartache, and epigenetic. I've been involved with womb healing work. I have a vibrational medicine line. I've been a massage therapist for 16 years. I do cranial sacral therapy. I recently embarked on spectrochrome light therapy. So it's using glass filters that have a specific frequency to them. And then I developed a protocol incorporating many modalities that I work with. I would say really my work is frequency medicine in various capacities. We are energy, and I know that we hear this a lot, but to really understand that we are magnetic and electric beings and we are liquid crystal. I'm always learning, exploring, and following my own intuition for how I feel inspired and how I can offer something to help people in their healing process. I believe that we hold a lot of experiences and emotions, and of course, epigenetic from the maternal line within our womb space. And those may be, it's a wide range of experiences that can be held in that space, but it really is a portal that we can activate and utilize for creation and manifestation in our life.
Yeah, I admire you to integrate a lot of different modalities, and they all actually is different aspect about the frequency in our body. But I like the way you using the natural thing like a stone, rock, flowers, the fragrance and the color, all that. For us to understand, we are all of those. We water, we have fire within, we
Right.
are, have crystal in our head. Everything is around us. We just need to
Yes.
kind of tune into it and maybe just quiet down our mind. But sometimes we're just addicted to this busyness. We don't do things, just popping out like crazy, right?
Right.
You are holding the space of the events you offer, really just let us be present and through five senses, smell, hear, or touch. So then start to understand, oh, actually, we are not that complicated. We can be simple like that. Just tune in, right? Have some connection.
Right.
I
I
think
mean,
that is amazing.
well, thank you. So I'm a generator in human design. So I always have a million ideas. And so really, I've been working a lot in the last 6 months or so. There's benefits to technology, and yet we're inundated with information. I've been really intentionally, it's just my personal kind of quest, but to not always feel like I have to document every single moment and just be present in the moment. And I've
Yeah.
been spending time, watching the transition into spring and the birds and looking at the sky and, working on cultivating my own present inner practice.
Mm.
I graduated from IU, and after college, I moved west because I wanted to see mountains, and actually was an anthropology major. I started as a Japanese major.
Oh,
I've
wow.
always had a fascination with language and culture and
Uh-huh.
travel. I don't know if you've been in the Pacific Northwest, but it is stunning. So again, my need to be in nature really fulfilled that for me. I'd been living in Portland and left in 2013. I went to North Carolina, and I'd say lots of times it's just following my heart. And but then there's also a pattern within that that I recognized of I moved a lot through my childhood. And there's, again, going back to shadow work, I noticed I would feel this restlessness,
Mm.
but I think that there is a root in the upheaval that I experienced in childhood. I've been kind of moving away from the word trauma because I feel like there's always an association that it has to be this really big event and that it's, physical or sexual abuse, which it certainly can be, or mental abuse. But we can have subtle experiences that are still very impactful, that are still a trauma for us. And that can be not feeling seen or heard.
Yeah.
And so we end up playing these out until we really integrate that and have an understanding.
Yeah.
And it's been incredible how much, I mean, I've been doing this personal work for decades, and I'm still seeing pieces and having understanding about it. When I
Mm.
am working with clients, whether it's massage or something else, holding space for them so that the body feels safe, because otherwise it's going to be in a guarded, protected space. I feel like one of the resistances is that people don't want to relive trauma. And I understand that.
Mhm.
But I feel like in the treatments that I offer, they are supportive avenues where that doesn't need to happen and that we can shift this because, again, we're energy. And so working on that energetic frequency basis so that the body can unwind and shift and move things through. It's why I love pairing all of these modalities together because I feel like they support in a beautiful way. I'm trying to find my place being back in Indiana.
Mm.
I came back because my family's here, and after being gone for so long, so much has changed. And because I need the, deep nature, and so it's been challenging just being in a more urban area, although I've landed in a place where I'm surrounded by nature and I have a park right next to me. And I've been exploring more and finding, oh, there's all these little pocket of nature. Things are falling into place and I am making those alignments. So it's exciting. A lot of my work is a little more esoteric.
Mm.
Figuring out how to present my work and explain it to demonstrate how it's, can help people. Because that is, I feel like I'm here to be in service of helping people in their healing process. Since November, I started kind of, it's a little different than an intention manifestation, but just holding the vision of all beings, human and animal, are sovereign and thriving and free. And I've been holding this every Sunday at 11 Eastern time. So there's people in different parts of the world that have been joining. But
Mhm.
what's been interesting is I kind of relate them to the shamanic journeys that I've experienced when I sit with my essences, that we can connect with nature and learn how they want to support us or deepen our relationship with them.
Mhm.
So usually that's through meditation, but they're like an awakened dream state. And so that's what's been happening in these. I'm always in the same place. It's a different dimension. The light is different, but it's the
Mhm.
same place. And the joy and the energy there, it's incredible. We really have divine abilities where we can create and manipulate energy and weather, and the animals have been in
Mhm.
these often for me, and it's been a very unique experience, and it's presented differently than I think I mentioned how I normally would quote unquote manifest something. So
Mhm.
I really feel like I've been tapping in, and others have had similar experiences into this other dimensional space.
Mhm.
And mentioning that too, because we are all energetically connected. So not just people, but the planet Gaia, Earth that we're on, and the animals. And we
Yeah,
impact each
exactly.
other, right? Because we have an energetic field, the biofield. And
Yeah.
that's what the color light therapy really is working with. And that our bodies and their complexity and divine design, know how to filter this light frequency or other frequencies of information that we're receiving, whether it's sound, or vibrational essences, or color, or again, for me, being in nature is very healing and calming. It's where I tend to get inspiration and groundedness, and it brings me back to center in a
Yes.
really beautiful way. And so,
Yeah. Or I mean, if you don't need to go far. If you have
no.
a grassy area, you just barefooted walk in there for a little bit, you can see the difference right away. So you don't need to
Mm-hmm.
drive like 3 hours, go to the mountain.
Right.
It's really the presence. It's the little things we do
Mm-hmm.
really can make a huge impact of our life, right? Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Well, human design chart for me is the energy flow. We actually has this human design as kind of a big book when we're born. Everything is in the book. We just need to learn how to read the messages. And what food you eat, did you sleep well? Who you are associated with their energy can impact your energy flow, right?
Right.
I think that's how your program actually really leads people through even the short time, but you will allow them to have a space to just have fun and let it go, smell something different, maybe touch something or hear the sound. If you have some kind of guided meditation, it will create a opportunity
Mm-hmm.
for everybody in the same place to move around a little bit. So I really appreciate your work.
I feel like the people that are ready for my work find me.
Mm.
And it's been really wonderful to be offering the stone treatments more frequently. I had a break for a few years just in my transitions in Oregon and things that were happening there. But it's, yeah, since I've started my practice, I find it just comes up in conversation. And then we are able to get to a deeper root or what is, what's ready to be seen and processed through. Um, And I also feel like it's not my place to insist. I think I first discovered the gene keys. I've been trying to remember, I want to say 2009, 2010.
Wow.
It might have been a little bit later, but it was somewhere in that time frame.
Mhm.
But it's been really good to revisit that. And as I was reading through it before we connected, it mentioned pieces that I'm actively working on. And one of them was essentially not offering unsolicited advice, which I have had a tendency to do that. I guess it's a fine line and balance of
Mm.
like I feel like it's important for people to make the discoveries themselves and that I can offer kind of avenues of ways that they can explore what that is or to understand what is shadow work. How do you do that? Or how do you embark on womb healing? Or how do I, get out of this pattern? Or how do I ground my energy? It's offering options and then letting them to discover what works for them and what feels best. And I also feel like over time, we're gravitating to different types of work.
That's how I see the human design chart is really the tool for us to be like aware, but not to criticize, okay, you or me, whatever, but it's just the energy, the esoteric system really give us the more of the whole view. Our body can feel that quantum field, but
Mhm.
our mind can only see or say something there in the molecular level. They are the 3D designer. They cannot they can guess.
Right.
They can get a wild guess because we cannot know. Right. So you mentioned about epigenetic,
Mhm.
the DNA, yes, we all have the same DNA, even the identical twin, they have exactly the same DNA, exactly the same parents and environment they grow up, but they are different.
Mhm.
So the difference is really in the field. The epigenetic, like how they think about themselves, eating and drinking, sleeping, all the lifestyle thing.
Right.
Then they create a different frequency in their energy fields. So they will make different decisions. So I'm curious about your epigenetic. I think you mentioned about you have product lines about fragrancy or essence. Would you like to
Mhm.
share some about that?
Yeah. So what people are most familiar with are flower essences, right? So it's similar to homeopathy. It's harnessing that unique frequency pattern
Mm.
of whatever tree or flower or whatever it is that I'm working with. So that actually began on my birthday. I took myself to Belize and I was just having a moment. I never intended to create a line. It wasn't the purpose of me making this medicine. It was for myself. And perhaps I would use it in with clients in my practice. But as you were just talking about the field and so much of not only my work, but how I live my life is my own intuitive guidance. So I feel like that's working with that field. I have a unique way that I activate my water. I received guidance on how to do that. I feel like this is not to be arrogant, but and I feel like it's mastery that I came in with. I know how to make this medicine. It's not something that I learned, it's something that I already know. And I make them in ceremonial ways. I make them where they grow. I make them with permission. And it's so much of an intuitive process. I've never gone out and said, oh, I'm going to make a flower essence with this. It's that I feel guided to go somewhere and
Mm.
I see what presents itself. And then I ask permission. So I have vibrational essences with trees, gems, crystals, certain areas of land that call to me, the elements. I have around 200 remedies and I do a lot of custom formulations. So, and I actually had started ones for the gene keys many years ago, actually, when I was in North Carolina. And again, it was just inspiration that I received, especially working through the shadow aspects of the gene keys.
Mhm.
So vibrational essences work through the energy setters when we take them. So usually we'll take them by the drop, direct by mouth, or I always encourage topical use too, because we're energy and this is an energetic frequency. And so they'll move through the nervous system, the meridian channels, and the chakras. And then, depending if they need to reside in the physical body or be more for emotional support, then they will shift in that way. And it still astounds me what people experience. You know, maybe it's that they need clarity about something or they're going through some big transition in their life, or they need to be more grounded, or they're grieving something, or, you know, whatever it is. I mean, often I'm actually working through a blend I made for myself on equinox of just supporting my life, you know, whatever that looks like moving forward. And
That's
so,
amazing. Yeah, yeah. So like you actually know the customer needs and you customize the frequency, they can definitely benefits directly from your creation.
yes, I
Mm.
intuit it though.
Yeah.
So that's one other reason that I work that way is it keeps me out of my mind because that complicates things. And so
Yeah.
intuitive guidance is
Mm.
actually very fast and they're spot on. It's amazing because we're working on a different level.
Mm.
So yes, it's always, I mean, I like to know someone's intentions, but I don't always know that. And in fact, where I've been doing stone treatments, I don't always, because someone else is scheduling those appointments, I don't always, or rarely will I know what someone's coming in for. And so even with the stones, I'm intuiting and they speak to me. And so I'll make a list. And then when I get to do that intake before our treatment, I know why those stones have come in. And so then I get to share that with them. And um,
That's great.
I love
I
it.
think you're the advanced teacher. You skip that molecular level of the complexity. You just tune into the fields of simplicity. I have the key 23. I think that is your design earth. So 23 people want to make things complicated first, but then we will find a way to simplify things. Sometimes people think the more value will be in the complexity. What that is
Mm,
for the 3D world, like everything need to be
yes.
complicated. So you have all this
Yes.
framework, you have the step,
Mhm.
so you can make money this, or you create different products so you can sell that. I think that is nothing wrong. It's just overuse. When we
Mm,
overuse and complicate it, it's just maybe create even more problem. For
Mhm.
example, the pharmaceutical drugs. We have all this complicated biochemistry process and everything inside. So you want to inhibit that enzyme.
Right.
But you think about how many, like hundreds, thousands, still linked with that same enzyme. Then
Mhm.
you inhibit it or you're activated, whatever you think they can do and benefit the downstream. We don't even know what we're dealing with, right? So that's a side effect. Actually, it's not really a side effect, it's a direct effect. Right? When
Mhm.
you inhibit something in the pathway, the direct effect of anything will show up because that thing is not staying alone. They mingle with all other body functions. And I think people start to aware about the side effects, really the direct
Mhm.
effects. So
Mhm.
they have an alternative, right? They can
Mhm.
choose to do the light therapy, or they can do walking the forest and hugging the trees,
Mhm.
all this natural tuning
Right.
process. And that becomes safe. When I work in a pharmaceutical, we need 20 years investments to hire somebody like me to get a product on the street. And in order to really make this process work, we charge people a lot of money
Mhm.
to get this process, right? So we can save all the money. So everything is possible eventually when we all rise up with the global consciousness.
There's a place for allopathic medicine, but it's not my first go-to. It hasn't been for a long time because I've always felt like my body understands something of nature. And most of the time, there's not side effects from it. And so that's always been my preferred go-to. Fortunately, I have a decent herbal knowledge. And so I've been able to just take care of myself through my lifestyle. I do see these things changing, which is encouraging. It's always been interesting to me that acupuncturists and Ayurvedic practitioners, these practices that have been around for thousands and thousands of years are considered alternative versus the allopathic conventional medicine that really hasn't been around that long. People are realizing and desiring something more holistic and nature-based. So
Yeah.
starting to learn how to forage, starting to learn how to make, herbal preparations. There's so many of those lost arts, like even knowing how to cook, right? Which
Yeah,
is like
exactly.
because processed food is horrendous. I don't care if you're eating conventional or organic, there's really not a big difference between them. So, I understand how that came in because our lifestyles changed. But there's always been a piece of me that is, I like the slower path. Like I cook. I have never owned a microwave. I like to chop things by hand. I mean, I understand I could do things a lot faster, but again, coming back into that moment and just not wanting to feel like I need to constantly rush to this and that and that and that.
That's become like the modern lifestyle. My parents, they're 90s and 80s, still very good health because they really take care of their body. They do their food. They don't eat out. The restaurant is only for the special occasions. Most of the
Mm,
people still cooking in their home. We would like to have the chance to share your Pearl sequence. The Pearl sequence is for your role, your business, and how you do. Then also the structure. What's the best for you to have that structure to grow your business? Then also the life work used to be the activation sequence. Now it become your personal branding. Before we can strive our business, the prerequisite is you need to clean. That is the shadow work. If we're not totally clean, or at least open the gate a little bit, then the business struggle. That's how I realized I need to clean it up. So the past 2 years, I'm just a cleaning maid. I clean up the stuff. So for you, I want to share your Pearl sequence if you don't mind.
I don't
Um,
mind.
this is based on the ancient I Ching. So they based on
Mm,
the 8 different natural phenomena. So I put your 4th sphere, that's your vocation, which means your role in your business, and your culture, that's your structure of your business. Then your pearl, that is the core. Then also the personal branding. Altogether, that's totally 8 different phenomena. So I grew them to see which one come out the top. So you are the lake. You have 3 lake within these 4 keys. The lake in the shadow frequency is the dissatisfaction. So you always want to be better. That is
Mm-hmm.
good drive. You want to improve, you want to help. So then the process increase your vitality because you start to choose what is good for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you don't waste the energy or something drain you down.
Yes.
Then in the end, it's the bliss. Like you just totally flow with who you are. You're just so peaceful. Nothing gonna bother you after you go through this process. But the gene key is really not saying you have to stop on the shadow. We all have that at the same time. It's just a choice. If you
Mm-hmm.
start to be aware, oh, I'm choosing the shadow now, then you can shift it. Just like say energy is energy. So you can go all different level, the shadow, the gift, and city, that's the highest expression.
Mm-hmm.
It just really by choice. If we clean up enough, we know we have a
Yes.
choice. So you are definitely the lake person, which is the drive, the desire, but in the end, it's really bring you to this great joy, the bliss. And your structure for your business, the best is in the network setting. I mean, from the level, that's number 4. Level 1 is individual. Level 2 is partnership. Level 3 is the units. Level 4 is the network. So your best structure is the network. You're better to work with maybe a group of individuals or a group of units building a network. That's your best structure. Then your role for your business, you're the marketing person. You need to go out and share, just like, hey, I have this product, I have this product, and you share the benefits and then you demonstrate how to use it, right? So that's your genius for that key. And your personal branding is 49. The 49 is very reactive kind of thing. If you are in a low vibe, you are like to fight back and punch out because that is the fear-based. The low vibe usually happen is because you see there's something you just don't like it. You want to make that change. But then you realize that the reactive way won't get you anywhere because people will resist you more. Right. So
Yes.
then you actually start to contemplate that you become revolutionary, not a reactionary. Create something better. You don't need to fight the old one. If the old one is just not working, so
Right.
don't waste your energy to fight them. Just create your own. That's how your
Yes.
brand or product coming in, right? So your brand is already there because your desire, you want to have change, but you shift your low vibration, become the fuel, become the power, right? So you start to make things change. Then your core, that is your pearl, is 28. 28 in I Ching is indicate it's a big jump. You will go to a lot of cliffs in your life and you have to jump. You decided that's the time to jump. Then your line is 5. So 28.5, that's your pearl. Then the 5 indicates power, a leader. So that in my contemplation, I can see other than a teacher, other than a friendly person, and you build your network, but then you create power. You create a movement for your business to move ahead and create your own brand.
Yeah, very much of that I'm in right now. I've always been more of an individual, but since coming back here, I've really been putting effort into networking. So that's everything that you speak about really resonates with me. And the shadow of reaction. I mean, there's definitely certain situations that I am like that. It's something I've been sitting with quite a bit lately to understand that more. I love the gene keys. I'm really excited to be reintroduced to that work. And I've had a fascination with human design. It's so much more complex and I haven't understood how to read my chart. I even have a book on it and I just haven't taken that journey. But I feel like so much of, yeah, the pearl sequence is is here now,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is exciting.
I enjoy reading and sharing. So now I think I'm
Right.
getting a little more sensitive about other people's charts. That make me excited because everybody need to know you're genius. All the things we think we are is not. It's
Mm.
just our perception. I'm so happy to have you, and would definitely love to share how people can connect with you and sign up for your events.
I have two websites. My private practice is Your Place to Heal,
Mm.
and my apothecary with the vibrational essences and in-person events I'm posting there. And that's my last name. So it's purifoyfloweressences.com. Or they can email me, and my email is a place to heal at Gmail.
Your last name is Purifoy, right?
It means pure faith. It's French. It's
Okay.
Americanized French, but
Mhm.
it's been interesting as that was the name of my vibrational essences that people have seen it and thought it said pure joy, or it's been interesting what registers in
Yeah.
their mind.
Mhm.
But yeah, the purity, purify, all of that, I feel like is indicative of a lot of the work that I do and
Mhm.
offer.
So I appreciate you, Lori, and I'm so happy you are close by, and then we maybe can collaborate, have some fun events. But
Absolutely. Well,
yeah,
I appreciate you taking the time. It's been lovely to talk to you.
thank you so
So,
much, Lori. I will see you around.
okay.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.